Let's go down to Jamie Erdahl. Jamie.
It is heralded as one of the most electric environments in the NFL, Greg, and tonight Arrowhead is living up to its reputation. It was the quarterbacks that painted the picture for us tonight. Alex Smith said he's well aware of the fact that people don't get an opportunity like this one, and he's going to take advantage of it. He also told us the Chiefs are going to feed off the fact that the Chargers are picked in this one, a far cry from their start to the season. Philip Rivers said 0-4 made him sick to his stomach, but he wants to make sure that the Chargers pull this one out. Time will tell a lot about the AFC West tonight, Greg.
All right, Jamie, thank you. A reminder for you, today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. The Kansas City Chiefs won the toss, and they have deferred, which means the Chargers will get their hands on the football first. You ready, Mr. Green?
I am very ready for this one. An exciting matchup, and teams talk about momentum heading into the playoffs. Well, you don't have to worry about momentum unless you win this game tonight, and that's what makes this game so vital.
Number 7 is Harrison Butker, and he will kick it away for the Chiefs. Number 20, Desmond King, is deep for the Chargers, and we're underway at Arrowhead. This one will not be returned. It goes up against one of the uprights. And onto the field comes Philip Rivers, the driving force behind these LA Chargers. In his 14th season, 23 touchdown passes as the Chargers look to extend their winning streak to 5.
Well, and you consider how healthy he's been able to stay throughout his entire career. The first game in week 3, they were able to get some pressure on him. Because of that, he had the early interceptions, which the Chiefs were able to turn into 17 points. He has not played that way the last month. That's going to be the key for the Chiefs defensively, is to get some pressure on him.
Everyone acknowledges the crowd here, if you're the visitor, can be a problem on offense. Rivers over the middle, complete to the tight end, Hunter Henry. The veteran on the offensive line for the Chargers is the free agent acquisition, Russell Okung, now in his 8th season. For firepower, Rivers has fine wide receivers, a Hall of Fame tight end, and running back Melvin Gordon, who's run for 6 touchdowns and has 4 TD catches. A pickup of 7 on that first play at 2nd and 3. Going the other way, Travis Benjamin. Benjamin has first down yardage and is out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. More than enough for a Los Angeles first down. Ron Parker pushed him out.
Just some misdirection here, trying to get over pursuit by the Chiefs defense. With that misdirection, you fake to the right, you get the linebackers to flow, and with the speed of Benjamin, able to get around the edge and pick up the first down.
Line of scrimmage is the 39-yard line. Chargers spreading the field with 5 wide receivers. Up the seam and short of his intended receiver. Pass intended for Keenan Allen. It'll be 2nd and 10. Up front for the Chiefs defense. Second-year defensive end Chris Jones has 4.5 sacks and an interception. Veteran linebacker Justin Houston owns 69.5 career sacks, 9.5 of them this season so far. And in the secondary, quarterback Marcus Peters back after a fine 2 weeks ago and a suspension last week. It's been an interesting couple of weeks for Marcus Peters.
Well, in that last throw, it may have looked like he underthrew Keenan Allen up the seam, but it was a too-deep safety, and he was trying to hold him up in that window between the linebackers and safety. Just a miscommunication.
This is Gordon. Running room off the right side across the 45, and now very close to a first down. Let's see where they spot it. They will give him first down yardage at the 49.
They're going to attack the right side. Derek Watt, the fullback, is leading through to get the block on Derek Johnson, and Gordon able to make Sorensen miss to get close or to make the first down. This is an area that's been a problem for the Chiefs all season long, is stopping the running game, and that's not the strongest suit for these Los Angeles Chargers because they're 24th in the NFL in rushing. But whichever team can establish and maintain that ground game is going to have the advantage.
Gordon. Not nearly the success off the right side this time. Maybe a yard gain to the 50. Reggie Ragland coming in to make the stop. This Chargers offense not very good on opening drives this season. They've managed a total of 3 points in the first drive, and that's the fewest in the NFL.
Well, just the fact that they've got the ball to midfield, obviously you want to go down and score, but by changing the field, flipping the field, getting it to this point, I want to bring up Reggie Ragland, who was in on that tackle, kept it to a 1-yard gain. He's been a nice addition for the Chiefs. He got acquired right at the end of training camp, came in, was still recovering from an ACL, but is now contributing on majority of the defensive downs.
Rivers rolling, throwing, sideline, catch is made, no, out of bounds. Keenan Allen tried to tiptoe on the sideline, didn't get both feet in.
Well, this is just your traditional bootleg. You fake left. You try and sneak Hunter Henry behind the line of scrimmage out to the flat and gets up to the second receiver, Keenan Allen. Marcus Peters tries to undercut it. You can see that left foot of Keenan Allen stepping on the white line, bringing up a 3rd and long.
Plenty of officials' assistants in red uniforms on that side of the field.
Yes, there were.
3rd and 9, and Austin Eckler makes his first appearance of the game in the backfield. The rookie out of Western State in Colorado. On the blitz. Rivers goes down as Eric Murray comes charging in from the defensive secondary.
Murray is bringing the pressure off the left side. He just shoots through. You can see that's where Phillip Rivers wanted to go with the pass. They were in man-to-man coverage, were the Chiefs, and he wanted to go deep up that left sideline. Darrelle Revis was on the outside, but he bailed right at the snap, so there was no separation for Rivers to throw it.
Tyreek Hill, who has 1 punt return for a touchdown this season already, is buried back at about his own 20-yard line. Derek Watt with the tackle. A beautiful Christmas tree, the center of attention at Crown Centerized Terrace here in Kansas City. In the middle of that huddle, Alex Smith having an outstanding year. 23 TD passes against just 5 picks. 4th best completion percentage in the National Football League.
Well, anytime you can have a nearly 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, that's a heck of a season.
Play fake and tipped and out of the backfield, and Kareem Hunt can't hold on to it. It's incomplete. On the line, Zach Fulton starts at center for Mitch Morse for the 9th time this year. Morse on injured reserve now with a foot injury, and the Chiefs have many offensive weapons. Tight end Travis Kelce, Kansas City's leading receiver, 7 touchdowns, 73 catches, 55 yards shy of 1,000 for the year. 2nd and 10. Hunt trying to turn the corner on the right side, doesn't get much. Maybe 2. Desmond King making the stop. Chargers defensive front, they get after the quarterback. Joey Bosa's 11.5 sacks on one side, Melvin Ingram's 9 on the other. The linebackers bolstered with the return of Denzel Perryman, who missed the first 8 games with an ankle injury. He's played in the last 5. And in the secondary, Casey Hayward led the NFL with 7 interceptions a year ago. He and fellow DB Trey Boston have 4 each. Here's a 3rd and 8 for Alex Smith. Linebackers falling off the defensive front, and Alex Smith going to take off and run with it, diving out to the 25-yard line. That'll be about 3 yards short of a first down.
This is something Alex Smith has done all season long. A year ago, he didn't run as much. This year, he's been able to buy time with his feet. He slides up in the pocket. Many times he's able to make the throw there, but he commits to the run. Chargers realize how far he is from the first down. They just rally and make him slide before he gets to the sticks.
Travis Benjamin has returned a punt 65 yards for a touchdown this season. He awaits this kick. From the 25. Right up the middle, penalty marker flies as he is brought down across the 30-yard line. Frank Zombo making the tackle. Our referee tonight is Walt Anderson.
I think they're going to get Corey Toomer with the block in the back.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 56, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Los Angeles.
Corey Toomer
Timeout.
it is. We take a break with 9:58 to play in a scoreless first quarter at Arrowhead. Scoreless in Arrowhead. Welcome back, everyone, to Kansas City. A fired up crowd, as is usually the case here in Kansas City. First down, Chargers, their own 20-yard line. Melvin Gordon in the backfield. Gordon with the football. Squeezes through for about 4 to the 24. Your keys to the game tonight.
First off, for the Chargers, you need to eliminate the Chiefs' explosive plays in the Week 3 win by the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt had a 69-yard touchdown run, and Tyreek Hill had a 30-yard touchdown reception. For the Chiefs, you need to make Rivers uncomfortable. LA has a league-low 15 sacks, so you need to make Rivers move off of his spot. Don't let him get comfortable back in the pocket.
Second and 5. Play fake. Rivers with all kinds of time and going to go deep down the near sideline. It is incomplete. Pass intended for Tyrell Williams.
Tyrell Williams is going to try splitting the coverage. He sneaks through. He's got Marcus Peters and he's got Ron Parker over the top. That shows you the trust that Phillip Rivers has by putting that ball, tries to split the double coverage, put it in a position where Williams can come up with it. He was able to get his hands on it, not able to finish off the catch.
Now it's 3rd and 5.
They did that little shift of Gordon moving from outside to inside just to give an indication what coverage is.
Rivers throwing, lobbing, incomplete. Intended for Antonio Gates.
Well, once again, it looks like a miscommunication because Phillip Rivers, like he had earlier on that first drive with Keenan Allen, where he saw one thing from the coverage and was trying to throw him into a specific hole. This time, Gates working across the field. He saw the safety come up. He's trying to lay him into that next window. Gates just hesitated in the middle of the field. So not quite on the same communication, but the key here, neither one of those throws ended up in interceptions.
Tyreek Hill awaits the punt. Muffed it. Bounced off of him. Down inside the 15, close to the 10, down to the 5. Let's see who's got it. Kansas City.
Well, that recovery,
football.
Well, sorry, Greg, but that recovery goes to Demetrius Harris. There, after Tyreek Hill ran into Sorensen and wasn't able to come up with the catch, it looked like there were 2 or 3 Chargers players there to jump on the ball, and Demetrius Harris shoves them from behind, which is fine to do. There's no clipping when you're going after a football, but watch the collision here as there's confusion with Sorensen. Watch Demetrius Harris come from the left side. 84 shoves the Charger in the back, and that's what causes the ball. Otherwise, they're going to come up with the football right there. The quick shove in the back doesn't allow him to get the easy recovery, which allows the Chiefs to jump on top of that football.
Now that ball bounced off of Sorensen first before it got to Hill. Orson Charles ended up with the recovery. So the Chiefs start deep in their own territory. From the 5. Smith to Kelsey. Kelsey to the 10. That's a pickup of 5, and it'll be 2nd and 5. Casey Hayward was there with first contact.
Well, talking to Casey Hayward yesterday, I said, listen, there's 4 main weapons, 4 stars on the Chiefs offense. You need to know where Alex Smith is at all time. You need to know where Kareem Hunt is at all time. Tyreek Hill, because he can take the top off of defenses, and Travis Kelsey. Those are the 4 guys you need to know where they are on every snap.
Alex Smith keeping it, moving to the right, and not very much there as he gets out to the 11. Melvin Ingram and Adrian Phillips converge.
Well, this is one of the first things that the Chargers talk to us about in meetings, and that's the RPO, and that's where the quarterback is reading the outside rush. Does the rush collapse, or does he stay at home? And Alex Smith read that Ingram was going to collapse and follow the running back, so he kept the ball. They anticipated that was going to be a big part of the game plan. That time Ingram able to stop the big game.
RPO is run pass option, isn't it?
We learned that.
I'm just double checking.
Right.
This is 3rd and 5. Smith pulls it down, now reloads and over the middle to Kelsey, first down and more. Across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
Give Alex Smith credit for staying with this play. The pocket collapses. He actually shoves the player in the back to get separation. Kelsey with a little stutter move, able to come up with the low. Watch this right here. He shoves Duvernay Tardif in the back. Kelsey comes up with the low throw.
21-yard pickup and a first down for the Chiefs. This is Kareem Hunt. Hunt with running room. Across the 35 to about the 37, maybe the 38-yard line.
Hunt had over 100 yards rushing the first time these guys played in week 3, and a lot of it came on that 69-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. But after starting off to a very hot season, he's already over 1,000 yards rushing. Cooled a little bit there in the middle, but picked it up last week against the Raiders.
He got 6. It's 2nd and 4. We'll try it again. First down yardage to the 45. Jaleel Adai and Adrian Phillips with the tackle. Kareem Hunt, 3rd round pick out of Toledo, number 2 in the NFL in rushing yards, and as you mentioned, seems to have pretty good weeks every now and then there was a lull, which happened to coincide with their losing streak.
Well, you mentioned 3rd round pick there. You know, Spencer Ware was the back. He was expected to be the guy in the backfield. Kareem Hunt would trickle in there every now and then, but he's been the man all season long, and he's, as a rookie, carrying the load.
Hunt finding the holes across midfield and into Charger territory at the 48. Saw Philip Rivers there on the sideline. Does he ever not smile? He is one of the happiest people in the National Football League.
Philip Rivers, I've seen a little fired up from time to time. He gets talking. He gets jawing a little bit in there. He's very competitive, as many of the guys are, I'm sure. But Philip wears a lot of it on his sleeve.
Hunt, first down. Ducks inside the 45 to the 42.
Duvernay Tardif playing right guard, just pulls around. He gets up on that next level and able to create some space for Hunt to pick up the first down.
Chiefs on their first drive. It's just 7 yards and no first downs. 52-yard drive so far, and this is their 3rd first down of this drive. Play fake to Hunt. Alex Smith going down at the 49. Melvin Ingram, his 10th sack of the year.
Melvin Ingram's coming off the side, but watch, Kelsey's going to try a double move. He works to the outside, and then you got Tyreek Hill on the backside who's trying to work the middle of the field. So after the play fake to Kareem Hunt, that's where they want to go. Well, you're going to throw it that far down the field, you have to hang on to the ball. And with edge rushers like Ingram and Bosa, it's hard to hang on to it that long and not expect them to be there.
Charkandrick West and Anthony Sherman in the backfield alongside Smith, and there's movement on the offensive line and penalty flags fly. You get the Chargers on this one, I believe.
Offside, number 54. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Ingram.
Got him with the hard count, getting off sides, get 5 of those sack yards back.
Let's check in with Jamie.
Well, Trent, you mentioned those edge rushers in Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa. They have a special connection. They make it a contest between the two of them to see who can make a strip sack, who can take down the quarterback. They have fun with it, but it was Ingram who was most complimentary of Joey Bosa, and the fact that he has worked since day one as a rookie, and they make quite the pair on this defense.
They do indeed, Jamie. How do you stop a twosome like that?
Well, and Ingram was real quick to point out, and that's great comment there, Jamie, because you talk about Bosa comes in as a rookie and just kept his mouth shut and works hard and gained the admiration of Ingram.
This is Demetrius Harris working his way inside the 40-yard line. Ball will be spotted at about the 38. And it'll be 3rd and about 6.
Well, and there's Bosa there. And Ingram just talked about his work ethic. Came in as a rookie. Of course, there was some contract stuff that was going on. He didn't necessarily get to camp on time. And, you know, Ingram just said he kept his mouth. He's just one of those guys you admire because he doesn't talk a whole lot. He just works his butt off. And just that work ethic carries throughout the entire defense. And Ingram was very complimentary. And like Jamie said, it's a competition with everything between those two.
Here's a 3rd and 6. Smith with time. Got his man inside the 30-yard line, down to the 26 is Tyreek Hill for a first down. And we have a flag in the backfield.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 35 and number 72. Offense. 15-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So that'll eliminate the first down. Eric Fisher and Charkandrick West combining on the chop block penalty.
It's going to be here at the bottom of your screen. You see Perriman come off the edge and just haven't engaged. Watch Charkandrick West goes low and Fisher has his hands up high. That rule was put into play a few years back just to protect the defensive player.
It used to be years ago just called a high-low.
That was a traditional block, but now it's player safety. Look at this unusual formation by the defense. You can't even see anybody else in the picture. They're so deep.
Alex Smith on the move. No one on that field except one defender, and the pass is complete. To the 35 is Orson Charles, the tight end.
They had 4 defenders at the line of scrimmage and 7 defenders nearly 20 yards downfield as Alex Smith scrambled around trying to buy some time, eventually dumped it off.
And on 4th and 3, they're going to go for it. The offense is on the field.
It's a gutsy call early on by Andy Reid, unless he's just trying to get him off sides. 5 seconds on the play clock.
Smith throwing this side, complete, first down and more. Kareem Hunt down the sideline, inside the 15-yard line.
A lot of movement there by the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt starts way outside right, gets to the backfield. Adrian Phillips was the one that was in coverage, so he lines up out wide to the right. He shifts to the backfield, the play fake underneath, then he sneaks out to the left flat. My guess is he got caught in the wash with a couple of players running some slants on that front side and got out to the flat for the first down.
On a 4th and 3, they pick up 21 yards in the first down. This is Hunt again. Met and stood up at about the 12. Corey Legion, the first to hit it. We'll give him 2 on the play. It's 2nd and 8.
Well, we talked to Anthony Lynn about, you know, in this type of game when so much is on the line, do you call games differently? Do you maybe go for it in a tough situation? Do you maybe take more risks? And Andy Reid was the first one to gamble in this game, going for it on 4th down and converting.
13th play of this drive. Smith, near side of the field, through the hands of Travis Kelce.
Alex Smith looking to his left the entire time, wanting Kelce in a one-on-one, not able to come up with the catch.
Eight seconds to play in the first quarter. That winds down with this Kansas City drive that has now run 8 minutes and 47 seconds. Alex Smith on the move, throwing, incomplete, inside the 10, intended for Tyreek Hill. And they are, let's see, with 1 second to play, are they going to bring out the field goal unit? They will.
Well, and that's where you can't be too risky if you're Alex Smith. You know you already have the field goal field goal attempt in your pocket because of the distance, so don't force it into coverage. Chargers drop 7 into coverage, trying to tempt him into throwing into a double coverage, a corner route against two defenders. Instead, the incompletion out to the flat after the scramble.
Bucker from 31 yards. And it is perfect. That brings us to the end of the first quarter with the score: the Chiefs 3, the Chargers nothing. We're back to Kansas City right after this. You're watching an NFL Network special. A reminder for you, Tuesday on NFL Network, the votes are in. It's time to find out who's headed to the 2018 Pro Bowl in Orlando. NFL Total Access Pro Bowl players revealed Tuesday at 8 live on NFL Network. Kansas City with 63 passing yards to their credit so far tonight. The Chargers -2 yards throwing the football. Desmond King is deep. Low, bouncing, and picked off at the 3 by King. Flags fly as he's brought down at the 25-yard line.
During the return, holding number 57, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Penalty is on Jatavis Brown. Meanwhile, talked about these Chargers. Turned on the juice, 0-4. And boy, did they turn things around in a hurry. And all of the Chargers, Trent, quick to say that they were playing decent football in those losses, but they just happened to lose those games.
Yeah, Philip Rivers said, listen, we were 0-4, but we didn't feel like an 0-4 team because we were in so many of those games. They lost by 3, 3-1 in 3 of those 4 games, so they thought they had a chance. They easily could have been 3-1 instead of 0-4. And if you look at these last 4 games on average, they're winning 33-13, so a 20-point advantage on average over this last 4-game stretch. So they came into this game very hot.
Rivers from Melvin Gordon. Gordon pushes his way out to about the 17-yard line. They picked up 4. It's 2nd and 6.
Well, you can see that the Chargers are trying to establish that run game. Gordon with 4 carries for 20 yards already. And as you mentioned, Philip Rivers in the passing game struggling, only 1 of 5 for 7 yards. And if you look at net yards, it's -2 passing because of the sack that happened earlier.
2nd and 6. Rivers, that's complete. Keenan Allen. Allen for a first down to about the 28. Trent, you've been on this field before. You've heard this crowd. How big of an effect does it have on the opposition?
Well, it does. The crowd noise makes a big impact in terms of communication. That's something that both sides have talked to us about. Philip Rivers is so good at. He's good at putting the offense in a good situation, finding those matchups. Keenan Allen told us, I said, what's the reason for your 4 straight 100-yard games? He said, Philip Rivers, he gets it in the play where I get one-on-ones, and he gets catches like that he can turn into first downs.
Gordon squeezing through to the 35.
For a second, like there was a face mask as he was working through the line, but maybe because he let go, they didn't call it. But let's take a look. Watch. Looks like Jenkins gets a handful of the face mask. No flag called.
I don't think that's in the rule books, and if you let go, it's okay.
I don't think that's there either. Right?
2nd and 3.
Tiger!
Philip Rivers delivering the message personally on the offensive line. This is Gordon. And Gordon runs into a stone wall off the right side, namely Justin Houston.
Well, we talked about him in the open, Greg. Justin Houston has to be disruptive in this game, whether it be making tackles at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield like that one, putting pressure on Philip Rivers. League low 15 sacks these Chargers have allowed. A lot of it is because Philip Rivers just gets rid of the ball before the sack can take place, but Justin Houston has to continue that type of pressure throughout this game.
3rd and 3 for the Chargers.
Keep an eye on Austin Eckler down here at the bottom of your screen. He's been a big part of the passing game, especially on third down as of late.
Keenan Allen out of the backfield. Rivers on the move, penalty marker flies, and Rivers diving for the first down, comes up short of it, but let's check the flag.
There are fouls by both teams. Illegal hands to the face, number 22, defense. Holding, number 66, offense. Those fouls all set. We'll replay third down.
So the cornerback for the Chiefs, Marcus Peters, guilty, as is Dan Feeney, the left guard, number 66 of the Chargers. There's the Feeney takedown in the offensive line. So we'll repeat 3rd and 3.
As you mentioned, Greg, Keenan Allen is the main target on third down. He leads the NFL in third down receptions and third down yards.
Rivers got rid of it. It's complete across the 40-yard line to Hunter Henry, the tight end.
Well, offensive coordinator Ken Whisenhunt was very complimentary of Hunter Henry because he can do so many things. You can line him up in the backfield. You can put him at the line of scrimmage. You can get him out wide. Watch Rivers as he stands in the pocket. Kevin Pierre-Louis is the one that closes the pocket. Rivers gets rid of the ball quickly, puts it right on target for Henry to convert for the first down. But back to Whisenhunt, he was just saying that Hunter Henry can do so many different things. Very, very similar to how the Chiefs utilize Travis Kelce by moving him around in different places. The Chargers are trying to do that with Hunter Henry as well.
Rivers over the middle, sliding catch made by Keenan Allen. At the Kansas City 47-yard line, that's another first down.
Keenan Allen working across the middle of the field. Steven Nelson trailing in coverage. Ball's a little low, but Keenan Allen's able to dig it out. Once again, that pocket was collapsing around Phillip Rivers. He had to throw that earlier than he wanted to. That may have led to the low throw as we take a look at Ken Whisenhunt.
Austin Eckler now back into the backfield for the Chargers. Rivers under pressure and going down. Chris Jones.
Chris Jones lined up against Feeney. Coming up the middle. Able to put instant pressure on Phillip Rivers.
In addition to playing terrific football, Chris Jones, one of the more delightful characters that we have had a chance to talk with.
He was highly entertaining. I don't think offensive linemen like him too much, but he entertained us the other day, that's for sure.
2nd and 19. Under pressure, Rivers got rid of it. That's incomplete. Allen, the intended receiver, it'll be 3rd and 19.
Well, just to double back on Chris Jones, we said, how is it you like to start off the game, and do you like talking to the offensive lineman to stir it up? And he goes, well, usually the first thing I say is, what up, fatty? He goes, and I see how they respond to that. If they respond, then I get them into a jawing match and we go back and forth. I said, I can't imagine they get real excited about you calling them fatty right off the bat. So just to follow up on why he was so entertaining for everybody.
Rivers, Gordon out of the backfield. Gordon going to be brought down, bumped out of bounds before he reaches the 45, well short of the first down, and Darrelle Revis making the main hit. The ex-New York Jet, ex-New England Patriot, ex-Tampa Bay Buck.
Well, they brought him over 3 weeks ago. He didn't play that first week, and last week played quite a bit.
And played well.
In the game against the Raiders, only gave up 1 reception for 8 yards a week ago, and tonight being called on quite a bit as the Chargers like to play a lot of nickel, so Rebus will be in there a majority of these snaps.
Drew Kaiser to kick it away to Tyreek Hill. It will be run down short of the goal line. And it'll be ruled a safety. Or, excuse me, safety, a touchback. Austin Ekeler didn't quite keep it in bounds.
Yeah, I think his momentum just carried it. Looked like his foot maybe hit the goal line.
If he could stop it right there, he's fine, but that doesn't count.
We're going to show you how close the Chargers were to having an outstanding play and pinning the Chiefs back inside the one, but toe gets right on the goal line, not able to drop the ball in time. Austin Ekeler almost had an incredible special teams play.
That's why the Chiefs are starting at the 20 instead of the half-inch line. Chiefs with the ball in a 3-0 lead. Hunt. Not much there, and a late flag comes flying in. That was late, too.
Holding, number 97, defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That number is 92, and that's Brandon Mebane, the nose tackle, guilty of the penalty. Here's the playoff picture in the AFC. Kansas City and the Chargers. Should the Chargers win tonight, they will just change places in the playoff picture with the Chiefs, who will become one of the teams in the hunt. Hunt in the backfield. Hunt with the football. Spinning. Still spinning. And pushing his way to the 35-yard line.
Well, Kareem Hunt got off to the hot start at the beginning of the season. A lot of it was due to his yards after first contact, the way he was able to make defenders miss. This time he spins out of the arm tackle. Then he's able to lower the shoulder and pick up an extra 2 yards.
And for the first time tonight, Akeem Hunt is into the game. Number 31, the third-year running back out of Purdue. Pass to Kelsey. Kelsey is cut down in a hurry by Casey Hayward, who was questionable up until game time tonight.
Yeah, dealing with a little calf injury. He wasn't sure. He wanted to come out and work out a little bit before the game, make sure everything was fine, and must have done enough to convince Anthony Lynn to play tonight.
You know, we asked Anthony Lynn. He said some of these players can be downright persuasive.
Well, you can see the type of season that Casey Hayward is having this year, but you piggyback that with what he did a year ago when he led the NFL in interceptions. He's put together impressive back-to-back seasons.
3rd and 2. Alex going deep, has a man open. It is caught. Tyreek Hill for the touchdown. 64 yards.
Casey Hayward, we just got done complimenting about the type of season he's had the last 2 years, and he mentioned to us, you have to be aware of Tyreek Hill's speed. You have to be aware of how explosive he is. There's not many players, if any, that are able to keep up as fast as he is. It's just a straight go route. There's no safety help over the top. You generally get a safety working to that side of the field anytime Tyreek Hill is to that side, just because of that track speed and explosiveness that he has.
Rutgers' extra point kick is good. Tyreek Hill, 7th touchdown catch of the season. 64 yards, 10-0 Chiefs. A little bit of a look at the sites in the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, founded in 1990 as part of the historic 18th and Vine District here in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill, 50th reception of 50 or more yards this season.
Well, coming into the game, he was one of the leaders in the league. He was tied for first when it came to catches over 40-plus yards. He had 7 of them prior to that one.
Desmond King will not run it out from 2 yards deep in the end zone. And looks a little bit disappointed at his decision. Here's the touchdown.
Little stutter move right there to freeze Casey Hayward, and then it's just a, Hayward sat in the room with us last night. He said you have to respect the speed of Tyreek Hill because not many guys can run with them, and no safety help over the top. Having a little fun after that touchdown.
We asked him, said, if they get past you, can you catch him? He goes, no, absolutely not.
Well, I was foolish enough to think that Alex Smith had overthrown him because when that ball left his hand, I thought he had thrown it too far, and then Tyreek Hill just ran and turned the burning zone and got it.
On first down, Phillip Rivers. With time, over the middle, almost intercepted. Batted down by Kevin Pierre-Louis. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Tyrell Williams trying to work across the middle of the field. You see Phillip Rivers with his eyes over to the left, trying to hold him on the tight end, Hunter Henry. Kevin Pierre-Louis just falls off of Henry in time to bat that ball away.
Chargers, last 4 games have trailed less than 2 minutes. Tonight, more than 8.5. On 2nd and 10. Rivers checks it down to Gordon, and Gordon spinning across the 40, still on his feet across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Great effort by Melvin Gordon, 21 yards.
Well, because of the type of runner he is, it's hard to remember that Melvin Gordon is also 2nd on the team in receptions. And when he gets the ball in his hands in the open field like that, it basically turns into like a sweep or a draw play. Able to get the ball in open field, make guys miss. He's powerful. He can get those extra yards.
New set of downs for Rivers from his own 46. Fake the pitch and gives it to Eckler. And Eckler close to the Kansas City 40. They'll mark him down at the 41-yard line. That is another first down for the Chargers.
Well, the Chargers trying to do a little trickery of their own, coming out, do a little pump fake, act like they're going out to the right. Eckler coming around underneath or over the top, and quick flip for the first down. Some creative play calling there by the Chargers.
We have a stadium full of quick guys tonight.
There is. We better be ready.
15 yards on that pickup, another first down. Rivers running out of time. He's going to launch it deep towards the end zone. It is incomplete. Off the fingertips of Tyrell Williams, Marcus Peters, Daniel Sorensen, double teaming.
Well, once again, just like earlier when Phillip Rivers threw into double coverage for Tyrell Williams, trying to come up with it, Sorensen gets his hands on, nearly tips it to where Williams ends up with the touchdown. Marcus Peters may have knocked that out of Sorensen's hands. Williams nearly comes up with it as he's going to the ground.
Perfect example of a quarterback putting it up for a receiver to make a play.
It's having that trust. He had it earlier when he threw it up double coverage with Ron Parker. That time threw it up again because Sorensen was deep enough. No reason to make that throw, but that's where the trust factor comes in. Sideline,
Incomplete. Late flag comes in. Keenan Allen was asking for a flag and got one.
Well, and he deserved it. Rivas had his arm wrapped around him and grabbed his body and turned it.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. First down at the spot of the foul.
Little chit-chat between Rivers and Rivas.
My guess is Phillip is going over there to tell him that we're going to keep throwing at him. You can see there both hands grab the shoulder pads, turns Allen's body. Watch, get both hands up. Then you see the extension, the pull of the jersey and the shoulder pads.
And the ball is on its way.
Yeah, the official's going to call that every time. And I think Phillip went to remind Rivas afterwards, we're going to keep throwing that way to see if we can't get some more of those.
Rivers with Eckler alongside him. Rivers throws out to this side, incomplete. Travis Benjamin had trouble getting across from the other side of the field. And we have a Charger down at the 46. That's Joe Barksdale, the right tackle.
Well, this would be a big loss for the Chargers if he has to miss some time. He's been taking on Justin Houston all game.
Under that blue medical tent is the right tackle Joe Barksdale, who was clipped by Travis Benjamin as he was coming across behind the line. Clipped in the sense of contact was made, and Barksdale went down and was helped off the field. He's been replaced by Michael Schofield. 2nd and 10. Rivers, short pop over the middle, complete. That's Williams. Williams inside the 20 to the 15. 18 yards on the play.
The Chiefs dial up a pressure. They bring double secondary. You got Sorensen and you got Nelson coming off of this right side. They're going to rotate around. Because of that, there's a big void underneath. So you clear out that side with deep routes and you have the drag route underneath. They're able to pick up the pressure off of the slot, which gives Williams time to get that drag route and Rivers time to make the completion.
Rivers standing tall in the face of some big pressure in the pocket. First time into the red zone tonight for the Los Angeles Chargers. Rivers flips it out. Gordon leapfrogging to about the 5. That's 13 yards, and it'll be 1st and goal.
Gordon gets it out in space, and as good of a coverage corner as Marcus Peters is, he doesn't remind anybody of those fierce tacklers that is going to come up and try and make his presence felt. So even though Gordon thought he was going to go low and try and make a big hit, that's not in the card for Marcus Peters most of the time.
You saw Bob Sutton, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. 1st and goal. This is Gordon. That didn't work. Check in with Jamie.
Greg, Joe Barksdale was the one that was in that tent. It was his right hip groin area. He seemed to be in a lot of pain before the trainers were able to, what I think, wrap him up in that medical tent. He just hit the field again.
Thank you, Jamie. Barksdale stepping back, and that is where he made contact with Travis Benjamin. Barksdale back at his right tackle spot on 2nd and goal from the 6.
Keep an eye on Hunter Henry here on the backside.
Gordon to about the 2. Daniel Sorensen there to make the stop. He was tackled by Cameron. Looks like so much more confidence in this Charger offense for the first time tonight.
Well, they've gotten a nice rhythm going. Remember, they had that little trick play, some misdirection. They've used different combinations. They've been able to pick up the pressure when the Chiefs have dialed the blitz and see if they get this ball snapped before the 2-minute warning hits.
Gordon again. Gordon to the end zone for the touchdown. So Melvin Gordon with his 7th rushing touchdown of the season.
The Chargers have 2 defenders untouched right in the hole of attack there, the point of attack, and Gordon's able to make them miss. Ron Parker comes free, Alan Bailey comes free, and Gordon cuts to his left and gets in the end zone.
And that is Chris Jones down on his knees. Crown Center Ice Terrace open for its 45th season. You been skating there, Trent?
I have not. I'm not a huge ice skater. I'll take my daughter sometimes, but
You'll watch.
no, I'll get out there with her.
Extra point attempt. Line drive kick, and it is no good. Travis Coons missed the extra point, but the Chargers put 6 points on the board. courtesy of Melvin Gordon's 2-yard run. 10-6 KC. So a high and a low for the Chargers. They get the touchdown. They miss the extra point. And 10-6 Kansas City with 2 minutes to play.
Well, if you're Phillip Rivers and the offense, you have to feel good about that drive. They put together a solid drive after Chiefs came up with a big play to Tyreek Hill.
This is Akeem Hunt, and Akeem Hunt down the sideline. Still going. Penalty markers in his wake. And he is finally brought down on the other side of the 50-yard line by Desmond King. Let's check the flag.
During the return, holding, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Let's go back to that extra point kick by Travis Coons.
What appears to be a good snap, good hold. Just yanks it to the left.
There have been a number of kickers for the Chargers this season.
Yeah, that's been an area of concern. We had the game earlier in the year when the Chargers were facing Miami and had a chance to win that game.
They have missed 4 extra point attempts this season.
Yeah, but that's Travis Coons. That's his first miss of the season. He was 4 for 4 on extra points after just being added a few weeks ago.
Kansas City, their last 2 drives, resulting in a field goal and a touchdown. Alex Smith over the middle. That is complete to Tyreek Hill, and Hill forward to about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line.
No, it's important to remember, Greg, the Chiefs have all 3 timeouts as this clock clicks down to almost a minute and a half.
And we have another player injury on the field. That is Denzel Perryman. Hey, stay tuned for the Lexus Halftime. Chris Rose and LaDainian Tomlinson bring you highlights and analysis of tonight's first half. LaDainian Tomlinson, he could play a little bit.
He could play a lot. That I was on the other side of some of those battles with LaDainian. So.
There's Denzel Perryman on the sideline, still being looked at.
Excited to see LaDainian go in the Hall of Fame this past year. That was a great honor for him. Well deserved.
1:36 to play here in the first half. 2nd and 5. Penalty markers fly before the snap.
Well, what Alex Smith is upset about is he wanted a free play. They stopped it.
Neutral zone infraction, number 99, defense, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So that's on Joey Bosa.
Watch Alex Smith as he looks over to the officials. He's like, wait a second, what do you mean? I got a free play here. Normally they blow it dead when there's a defender unimpeded to the quarterback and he's going to take a hit. That time it didn't appear that was the case, so Alex Smith thought he had a free one to throw it down the field.
We always talk about players having the presence of mind to do something. Alex had the presence of mind to turn to the referee and basically say, what are you doing? So it's a Kansas City first down at their own 33. Smith under pressure, over the middle, complete to Kareem Hunt, and Hunt crosses the 40 to the 41-yard line. Clock continues to move, 1:25 to play in the first half.
Well, trying to keep an eye on the Chiefs sideline. They were waving to Alex Smith to keep it going at an up-tempo. They weren't going to waste the timeout or spike the ball. They wanted to get another play called.
Smith, Kelsey. Kelsey has the first down just across the 45-yard line. Coming up on 1 minute to play. Kansas City still all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
Well, there's still plenty of time. You have all 3 timeouts. Chargers are playing mainly. So far they've been in a cover 2. Now they decide to bring pressure off the slot.
That pass to the sideline and out of bounds is Tyreek Hill at the 45.
If you're playing quarterback and sorry about that, Greg. If you're playing quarterback and you know they're bringing pressure off of one side, that generally means they're going to bail out on the other side. So Alex Smith, aware bringing slot pressure from the right. Rotation of the safeties tells you that backside corner, you're either going to be one-on-one with Tyreek Hill, or the corner is going to bail out of there, and you're going to have soft coverage working that sideline as Smith gets it out of bounds.
Alex Smith enjoying a good first half, 11 of 15, throwing for 163 yards and a touchdown. Throwing again. Out here to the near side of the field, that's Tyreek Hill, and Hill diving for the sideline, out of bounds at the 41. That is a first down and stops the clock with 40 seconds to play.
Well, Casey Hayward was once again telling us, Tyreek Hill in the open field, you have to have everybody responding to the ball. He brought up that Dallas play at the end of the half where it was just a little dump off. Hill made about seven or eight defenders miss as he got in the end zone right there before the end of the half. A lot of respect for him in the open field.
Kansas City still with a world of time on the clock and all of their timeouts remaining. Alex Smith up the middle. And diving forward, we have a penalty flag in the backfield as the clock stops with 33 seconds to play.
Illegal hands to the face, number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, it's still first down.
So that penalty is on the left tackle, Eric Fisher. So how's the clock playing out for Andy Reid now?
Well, you still have all three timeouts, so you can work the entire part of the field. I know there's only 33 seconds, but that's plenty of time with three timeouts in your pocket.
That is Butker, the field goal kicker. From their own 49, Alex Smith over the middle. That is complete. And that is Albert Wilson, and Wilson with running room. Wilson inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. And now they will call a timeout. Let's look at some next-gen stats presented by Mercedes-Benz. Trick?
Well, it's Travis Kelce. Now he's lined up on the outside. He likes to move around. The Chiefs like to utilize him in different positions, whether you play him tight, you play him in the backfield, you get him out wide. Travis Kelce likes to be in the slot because it creates a matchup issue for the defense.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Mercedes-Benz. Anthony Lynn, head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, trying to figure out a way to stop this Kansas City offense before halftime. 24 seconds on the clock.
Well, he had a lot of compliments for Alex Smith. He said, you know, not only has he had a great season when it comes to his numbers, but he's a playmaker with his feet. He extends plays, and that's what allows the breakdown in the secondary to happen when he buys time with his legs.
Alex Smith looking at a 2nd and 5. Going to give to Charcandrick West. And West spins down just inside or just at the 35-yard line. And the clock is stopped again with 19 to play. Stay tuned again for the Lexus halftime. Chris Rose and LaDainian Tomlinson bring you highlights and analysis of tonight's first half. I'm sure LaDainian just blushing after all the good things that we've had to say about him here in the first half.
Well, and he should be. Deservedly so. Incredible career LaDainian Tomlinson had. But for these Chiefs, they've got one timeout left now. It is 3rd down. You want to try and push it down the field. The Chargers, for the most part, have shown cover 2, allowing the Chiefs to throw things underneath, not trying to give up the big play. That was one of the things talked to Gus Bradley, defensive coordinator for the Chargers, and he said, that's what we've got to stop. The first time, they gave up a couple big plays. Tonight, they've given up a couple big plays, so eliminating that part of the offense has been a problem so far for the Chargers defensively.
3rd and 3. Smith to the near side of the field, caught, incomplete. Now ruled incomplete. Charcandrick West, the intended receiver. Harrison Butker getting ready for a possible field goal attempt. He is 3 for 3 in his career from 50 or more yards out. There's Butker.
Well, the problem there is they thought it was a complete pass. They signaled a complete pass, and they said out of bounds, and they said fumble. Now they're saying incomplete.
Incomplete.
Walt Anderson just announced it was ruled an incomplete pass. Gets the ball, tucks it away. Gets it chopped out as he's turning to go upfield. Ruled an incomplete pass.
So Butker will line this one up from appears to be about 52 yards out. He has hit from 53 twice this season. And a timeout before the snap. Called by the Chargers.
Prior to the snap, Los Angeles calls its second timeout of the half, 30-second timeout.
So each team now with one timeout remaining. You know, if you ask coaches, do you really like that? Do you really like when that happens and someone just calls a timeout just before the snap and they just go, it's legal?
Yep. They why take them with you into halftime? And talking to some of the kickers actually like it because it gives them more time to relax, set up. Sometimes, like what just happened there for Butker, is you get a practice kick. You get to figure out, okay, I need to make an adjustment because of the wind. I need to maybe adjust where I'm planting my plant foot. So even though some coaches call it, I know there's some kickers out there that actually like it. Not that they anticipate it, because you never want to get your mind set that way, but here he gets another crack at it.
From 52. Just wide of the upright.
Well, now all of a sudden, if you're LA, 7 seconds to go. If you can get a play 5 seconds or so here and trying to get yourselves, as you see this kick one more time, looks like it's going to be good. Just drifts left of that left upright. But 7 seconds and one timeout. If you're the Chargers, you still got a chance to try and get yourself in position to either try a Hail Mary or try a long field goal yourself.
Over the last 4 games in the first half, Phillip Rivers, 223 yards, 96 tonight. Rivers, short pop over the middle. That is complete to Tyrell Williams. And they use their third and final timeout as he gets the ball to the 45.
Tyrell Williams just catches a quick slant on the inside, and you can tell he understood the amount of time that was left in the half, so he goes down, they get the quick timeout.
So they've moved the clock to 2 seconds remaining.
Well, they learned their lesson last week. Eckler had a chance, the same situation, try and get some points. Instead, he stayed in bounds, ran out the clock, didn't go down. Now the Chargers will have a chance here with 2 seconds left in the half.
We'll see who Phillip Rivers chooses to try to get the ball to as the Chiefs defense spreads all over the field.
Chiefs are going to use their last timeout.
Was there an area of the field that wasn't covered by the Kansas City defense?
They were spread
all
everywhere.
Over the place.
Which is a little unusual, but usually you put...
you know what? They're going to do it again.
Well, and now they got Kelce going in the game. They're going to put a big target down on that goal line, so if there is a jump ball, you got Kelce back there to try and knock it down.
It'll be just a 3-man rush, and probably not that huge a rush. And 3 guys in the end zone for the Chiefs.
So we got Justin Houston up here to the outside, and after he does a little check at the line, I'm sure he's going to be rushing Phillip Rivers.
Rivers going to launch it to the end zone and batted down by Travis Kelce.
Smart play by Kelce, batting it down and not trying to get the interception.
Although knowing Travis Kelce, it would not have been unlike him.
Well, that's why I said that's a smart play, because I thought, you start thinking I'm going to make a play. I'm going to get the interception.
I'm going to run
Maybe
it back
try and return it, go 100 yards. Smart play by him, knocking it to the ground.
That is the end of the first half with the score. Kansas City Chiefs 10, the LA Chargers 6. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Lexus.
You still believe in me? Didn't I give everything I had to give you to make you see? I'll never forget if you turn your back on me.
In this battle for the top spot in the AFC West, as we get set to start the third quarter, the Chiefs leading the LA Chargers by a score of 10-6. Check out the first half highlight presented by Philips Sonicare. Alex Smith finding Tyreek Hill down the sideline, 64 yards, and the only touchdown for the Chiefs as they lead it. We welcome you back to Arrowhead. Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green. I mentioned to you just a moment ago that these Chiefs are looking a lot like the Chiefs that started this season.
Well, it's because they're explosive on offense, getting explosive plays like we just saw to Tyreek Hill, and that's where they were effective early in the season. They didn't have that during the lull of the middle of the season. A week ago against the Raiders, over 400 yards of offense, and well on their way to that tonight with over 200 yards in the first half.
What's happened to that explosive Chargers offense that we're used to seeing?
Well, it's because of the Kansas City defense. They've been able to put pressure on Phillip Rivers, who's only sacked 15 times on the season. But tonight, the Chiefs have found a way to get after him. And then, of course, with the stopping the run, which has been a problem for the Chiefs this entire season. But they've been able to keep that rushing attack in hand as the Chargers only have 142 yards of total offense.
Alex Smith had himself a heck of a first half. 13 of 17 for 174 yards.
Well, the important thing there is the one touchdown, which we already showed, but no interceptions, and that's when the Chiefs have played at their best, as they've been able to win the turnover ratio.
Akeem Hunt from his own 1 yard line. Trying to go around, turn the corner, and then we run out of bounds short of the 25-yard line by Michael Davis. Down to Jamie Erdahl.
Greg, some interesting conversations I had with the coaches at halftime. Andy Reid gave me a sort of when I asked him if he was comfortable with how the first half played out. He did say he was okay with the fact that they passed for almost 3 times the yardage than where they rushed in the first half. As far as the Chargers go, Anthony Lynn was frustrated with the fact that they missed so many tackles in open space, especially when you consider the speed that the Chiefs have. Also, linebacker Denzel Perriman, we saw carted off at the end of the half. He is questionable to return with a hamstring injury.
All right, Jamie, thank you.
Interesting, Jamie's comments from Andy Reid. He said, sort of. You have 222 yards in the first half.
This is Kareem Hunt. Hunt over the 30 out to the 35-yard line and a first down.
Well, the Chargers came into this game 29th in the league in rush defense. As dynamic as they've been rushing the passer, as dynamic as they've been keeping teams out of the end zone, as they're number 2 in the NFL in red zone defense, the biggest problem they've had is right there in their rush defense. And as Anthony Lynn just told Jamie, it's been missed tackles. They had an opportunity to bring Hunt down after a couple-yard gain.
All right, 80. My shot.
This is Hunt. And Hunt maybe a yard to the 36. Joey Bosa combining with Trey Boston to bring him down. All those weapons that the Kansas City Chiefs have on offense, this is what they've done in the first half tonight.
Well, in Kareem Hunt there, you see touches. That's the number of carries and the receptions that he's had. He's got 2 catches for 30 yards coming out of the backfield. So he's been a dual threat weapon for the Chiefs tonight.
On 2nd and 9, Smith rolling, throwing, sideline, complete and out of bounds is Tyreek Hill. These Chiefs are used to winning games against the Chargers. They've won 7 straight against the Chargers.
Well, and you have to remember when you're looking at the Chiefs this season, they're 5-1 when leading at the half. The Chargers, on the other hand, have struggled when they've been trailing at halftime. Only 1-4 on the season when trailing at the half.
Here's Matt Nagy, who has taken over the play calling duties here in Kansas City.
All right, 80. My shot. Hey, on, Liz. Come on. George. On, you like.
Smith had it popped in the air and falls incomplete. Damian Square, nose tackle, appeared to get a hand on that. And that'll bring out the punting unit.
Gets his hands up, gets the tip. Looks like it ricochets off his helmet. That's a good defensive stop here in the second half to start things off for the Chargers. They did give up the initial first down on that first carry to Hunt, but now forcing the Chiefs to punt.
Travis Benjamin awaits. What a booming kick by Dustin Colton. And fair catch is called for and made. 12:47 to play in the third quarter. First offensive series for the Chargers. They feel strongly in these parts about the 33rd President of the United States, and obviously he feels strongly about the Kansas City Chiefs. Harry S. Truman Presidential Library and Museum. The library and resting place of former President Truman. What do the Chargers do here in the second half?
Well, I think they're going to get things spread out and try and put this in Phillip Rivers' hands. They're not going to completely abandon the run, but Phillip Rivers is at his best when he can dictate things at the line of scrimmage, spread it out, find those one-on-ones and matchups that he can take advantage of.
Rivers with time over the middle. He's got his man, and Gordon has running room. Gordon, 45, midfield. And down just shy of the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him inside the 40-yard line. Melvin Gordon, 49 yards.
Ingram's going to come out, or he's going to come out of the back. Gordon is, and work his way across. Watch, he checks to see if he has to block right away. Then Kevin Pierre-Louis is in coverage. He doesn't see him release right away, so Pierre-Louis decides he sees that drag by the receiver coming underneath, and then he's too late as Gordon sneaks out of the backfield.
What a way to get started offensively here in the second half. Well, the Chargers, Austin Eckler now in the backfield. Rivers, that is complete, and inside the 30 and almost to the 25 is Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry, the second-year tight end out of Arkansas. We remember back to last year when Phillip Rivers was singing his praises.
He was very high on him a year ago, and he continues to be, because Hunter Henry is a smart enough player. You can move him around and find those matchups, and I think I mentioned a second ago, that's when Phillip Rivers is at his best, when he gets comfortable to dictate the pace of the game.
This is Eckler. And Eckler has to push hard to get back to the line of scrimmage at the 25.
Well, as high as he was, Phillip Rivers on Hunter Henry a year ago and continues to be this year, as Kevin Pierre-Louis is down on the ground right now. He was equally as high on Eckler when we had a chance to talk to him yesterday.
They'll look at Pierre-Louis. We'll take a break.
Injury to Kevin Pierre-Louis as he gets that right arm extended, trying to make the tackle, and then to make matters worse, his teammate Chris Jones falls on top of him as that arm's pinned underneath his body. They've taken him into the blue tent for evaluation.
2nd and 10 for Rivers and the Chargers. Right over the middle again, and this time Chiefs sniff that one out. Tyrell Williams is tackled for no gain. Derek Johnson, who has replaced Kevin Pierre-Louis, 13-year veteran out of Texas.
Well, he's been the leader of this defense for a long time. He's the Chiefs' all-time leading tackler. You talk to some of the younger players on the team, Reggie Ragland. A lot of compliments going Derek Johnson's way just because of his preparation and the way he prepares for football games.
Big 3rd and 10 here for Rivers. Time running down on the play clock. Here comes the blitz. Rivers throwing far side wide open. That is caught by Keenan Allen. And Allen at the 10 for a first down. We said it earlier what a key receiver he is for Phillip Rivers on 3rd down.
Well, the Chiefs try and time out a pressure once again coming from the left side. Chargers are able to pick it up. Rivers takes a huge hit as he's going to the ground. He gets that ball out. Keenan Allen's Parker's trying to make the coverage because his secondary defender left him on the blitz. Parker coming from the safety spot, not able to get there in time.
1st and goal for the Chargers at the 10. Eckler in the backfield. Rivers Going for the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown. Antonio Gates. For the 113th time, Antonio Gates with a touchdown catch.
Antonio Gates is going to be lined up on the right against Derek Johnson. There's underneath route that holds that coverage underneath. Johnson's just not able to catch up to him. He's been doing that for a long time, Greg.
His 15th season out of Kent State. The extra point attempt is good. 9:20 to play in the third. Rivers to Gates. Where have you heard that before? How about 86 other times? 86 times. Phillip Rivers is connected for a touchdown with Antonio Gates. Second most, as you see there, for a quarterback-receiver combo. Second only to Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. Akeem Hunt at the 10. And across the 30 to about the 31 or 32-yard line. And a little friendly pushing and shoving, as divisional rivalries will often produce. Speaking of those, Colts next Saturday on NFL Network. Trent and I will see T.Y. Hilton and the Colts square off against Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens. Colts Ravens next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. only on NFL Network.
Well, now it's a responsibility of the Chiefs to come out and respond after stalling on that first drive of the second half. Now they get a chance to come back and try and answer the Chargers, who put together a drive on their first possession of the second half.
Rivers, 5 out of 5 for 88 yards and a touchdown on that drive. Alex Smith throwing to the near sideline. That is complete to DeAnthony Thomas. What does this game mean? Not a whole lot. Top spot in the AFC West. Kansas City owns the tiebreakers. They're 3-1 in the division, where the Chargers are 2-2. And don't forget about the Oakland Raiders.
Well, that's why Kansas City, if they win this, they put themselves in a really good spot based on division record, based on conference record, and of course, they'd be one game ahead of the Chargers at that point in time. Now, if the Chargers win it, then it gets a lot more interesting when you start talking comparisons of head-to-head, and they've split. At that point, they would have split head-to-head. Division record would be the same, but they would have that advantage by one game at that point.
Escaping the pressure, Alex Smith throws out here to Kareem Hunt on the near side of the field, and he is just across the 35-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5. Kansas City still has Miami and Denver on its schedule, while the Chargers are at the New York Jets and then host Oakland the last weekend of the season.
Well, talking to some of their coaches and players before the game down on the field, they realize how lucky they are to be in Kansas City this time of year and have these kind of weather conditions. They just assumed it was going to be freezing cold, maybe a little snow, maybe a little ice.
Yeah, I did too.
They feel fortunate to have these conditions tonight.
3rd and 5. And Alex Smith looked like he got him to jump. Although there will be a conference at the 25-yard line. Jatavis Brown guilty of the jump.
Well, it'll be right in the middle of the picture, coming over the center there, and Jatavis Brown filling in for Perriman, who was injured in the first half.
So Hunt in the backfield behind Alex Smith. On first down, Hunt with the football. Still on his feet across the 45 to about the 47-yard line.
Well, that's on Jaleel Adai. He had an opportunity to make the tackle right at the line of scrimmage, and he comes down low thinking he's going to take out his legs. Watch 37 as he comes in and he goes the dive down low at the legs and completely misses, and Hunt keeps his balance and is able to turn that in to a 6-7 yard gain.
And Corey Leggett, the defensive end, number 94, got up a little tenderly and is walking off the field.
Well, talking to Melvin Ingram last night, I said, you know, when the season started off 0-4 and this defense, the struggles and, you know, the games were close, and he said, you know what we had to do? We had to go back to fundamentals. And the main fundamental that the defense had to do was work on tackling. Work on tackling, make sure we had too many missed tackles those first 4 games, and we knew we had to get better. So there wasn't a whole lot of things we had to do schematically. We just had to basically go back take a look at Gus Bradley, a defensive coordinator. He's made it very simple what he thinks they need to do and what they need to get done. He says you need to eliminate explosive plays, which the Chiefs have gotten a couple, but he said it's about play with speed and play with confidence. They've got to get back to that here in the second half.
Alex Smith looking at a 2nd and 4, and this is Hunt again. And Hunt will be brought down at about the 48. That'll leave a 3rd and 3. Brandon Mebane leading the charge for the stop.
All of a sudden makes it a big 3rd down once again. Last 3rd down, Alex Smith was able to give a hard count, pick up the cheap 1st down. See if he tries to get him again.
Albert Wilson in motion across the field. Smith, quick pass. Kelsey, 1st down, just inside the Charger 45-yard line.
Kelsey working that right slot. This goes in, sits down the middle of the zone. You have Albert Wilson that was sneaking in behind him, so that's why the linebacker stayed inside. Give up the short one, don't give up the long one, but the short one gets the 1st down.
Smith going to give it to Hunt. And that play is brought to a halt at the 45-yard line. You know, everybody out there, Trent, you assume, you know, is playing for the love of the game. But Travis Kelce really loves playing the game.
Well, he does, and it's sometimes that emotion can be a good thing. Sometimes that emotion can be a bad thing. We've seen over the last couple of seasons where he lets that emotion get the most of him, and it's cost this team with penalties. And then you've also seen his dance ability when he gets in the end zone. So he brings a lot of excitement, a lot of passion to the game, and that's why his teammates love playing with him so much.
2nd and 10. Quick pass to this side. Kelsey. About 2 yards short of a 1st down as he's close to the 35. Travis Kelce has just made a name for himself, especially over the last 2 years. Started this night with 945 receiving yards.
Well, he started off in college as a quarterback, worked his way over to tight end. He likes the way that they utilize him as far as spread him out in the slot, getting out wide. He likes the matchups he can get out in space, but he doesn't shy away from the physical part of playing the position as well.
Hunt, 1st down and more. 25, 20, and down at about the 19-yard line. Jaleel Adai, Trey Boston tracking him down after a 17-yard gain.
Hunt just going to attack the middle part of the line, but you see the collapse.
And a missed tackle.
As Charles gets the block to the outside, and then the missed tackle once again. That time Casey Hayward having a chance to bring him down for a 1-yard gain, not able to wrap him up.
We talk about these explosive ball players, and every once in a while, all of a sudden something pops just like that one did. Straight drop for Alex Smith, and he's going to run it right up the middle and dive to about the 12.
Well, and I talked to Gus Bradley. I said, you know, what's been the biggest difference for you defensively? And he said, well, we've not given up those explosive plays. I said, well, what are explosive plays? Some people call those 20-yard gains. He says, no. We look at it differently. It's a 12-yard gain running the football or a 16-yard gain in the passing game. and they haven't done that tonight. He's going to be frustrated with the performance, number one, of some of the missed tackles, too many of those tonight, but also giving up the big plays as they try and hold the Chiefs to just a field goal attempt.
2nd and 3. Hunt. And Hunt diving right into the middle of the pile, brought to a stop at the 10.
And the reason I say hold them to a field goal attempt, because you remember the Chiefs' only touchdown, that was a 64-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. Last time they were in here, they got stopped in the red zone, had to settle for the field goal, and the Chargers defensively are number 2 in the NFL in holding teams in the red zone, making them kick field goals.
2:40 to play here in the 3rd. Third and 1 for the Chiefs. Smith shovels it back to Kareem Hunt, and Hunt has the first down. Out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for Kansas City.
How many teams in the NFL are going to have their starting quarterback run an option to go down the line of scrimmage like a college option in the Oklahoma days? It wasn't quite the wishbone, but you're still working down the line of scrimmage. And now Alex Smith is even going to try and get a block to the outside to get the 1st and goal.
We have a Charger down on the field, and we'll check on him during this break. The injured Charger is defensive back Adrian Phillips, and he just now was able to get off the turf. Here's what happened, Trent.
Well, the initial block by Alex Smith was fine. It's when he rolls up on him and his leg gets pinned underneath Alex's body as they're rolling towards the sideline. That lower right leg ankle area. They brought the cart out to get him off the field. Instead, he was able to get up with the assistance of his teammates and work his way to the bench area.
And now is in the medical tent being looked at. Meanwhile, from the 3-yard line, 1st and goal. Kansas City with the ball, down 3. Alex Smith rolls, throws, touchdown. Kareem Hunt. We have a flag down.
Well, it's going to stay a touchdown. It looked like it was going to be holding on Desmond King, who was trying to cover Hunt in the flat as he released out.
Holding number 20, defense.
Exactly who it is.
Decline. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Chiefs have 3 tight ends to the left side of the formation. Alex Smith spins to get out. You see King holding him with the right arm there and then falls off of him late. Alex Smith dumps him off, and Hunt with the touchdown.
So Hunt scores the 2nd touchdown of the night for the Chiefs. Harrison Butker for the extra point. And it is good. 2:07 to play in the 3rd. The Chiefs come right back with a touchdown drive and take the lead again. The Kansas City Chiefs answered right back with a 12-play, 69-yard drive to reclaim the lead. Took more than 7 minutes off the clock. And the Chiefs lead it by a score of 17-13.
Well, and that's what we expected in this game. They're battling for the division lead. Only 3 games to go.
This ball bounces into and out of the end zone for the touchback. Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award recognizes NFL players who have made a significant impact both on the game and in their communities. The Chargers nominee, Casey Hayward, has been honoring his late mother's legacy by continuing Hayward's Hands, which provides assistance and opportunities to those in need. And the Chiefs nominee is Alex Smith, whose foundation uplifts the foster care community in Kansas City and in his home state of California. Good work by good guys.
2 good guys. It's good to see them recognized.
So let's see how the Chargers answer. 2:07 to play in the 3rd. They're down 4. Rivers short pass incomplete, intended for Melvin Gordon.
Trying to set up a screen there. Not able to get the connection. Okung is down on the knee.
Veteran left tackle, spent his first 6 years in Seattle, last year in Denver. We were talking about his durability earlier, and he limps off. He's replaced by Sam Tevy, the rookie out of Utah. 2nd and 10.
Well, he's been vital for the Chargers. He hadn't missed the start the entire season, so been able to stay healthy. Hopefully he's able to get back in the game.
Drag route over the middle has been huge for the Chargers tonight. Rivers with time, gonna go deep. And it is intercepted. Marcus Peters to midfield with blockers down the far sideline. 15, 10, and down close to the 5-yard line.
Greg, sometimes that trust can take you too far. That's the 3rd time tonight that Phillip Rivers has tried forcing a deep ball into double coverage to Tyrell Williams. This time Marcus Peters makes him pay for it with the big interception and the huge return inside the 10-yard line.
If you could read Phillip Rivers' lips there, he said, "Where are you going?"
Well, Williams gets lost at the top of the route, starts spinning around different directions, and he can't locate the ball in time as Marcus Peters comes up with it. I'm not real sure about the way he's carrying the ball, but he gets away with it.
That is Phillip Rivers' first interception in 164 pass attempts. And until that point, he had the longest active streak in the NFL. Here are the Chiefs knocking on the door from the 6. Kareem Hunt straight ahead to the 1. That interception by Marcus Peters was his 4th of the season.
Well, once again, that's just Phillip Rivers trying to throw that jump ball. He got away with it earlier, throwing that corner route. Ron Parker and Marcus Peters didn't come up with it in the first quarter. That time as Williams got lost trying to locate the ball, it was an easy interception for Marcus Peters, and we still see the frustration on Phillip Rivers' face.
2nd and goal. A little movement up front. This play will not count.
False start, number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd.
That's Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. From McGill University in Montreal.
Dr. Duvernay-Tardif. Not everybody spends their off-season working on their medical degrees, but he does.
So 2nd and goal now from the 6. Smith going to throw for it. Bullet to the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Demetrius Harris. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Well, there was some contact at the top of the route. That's what Harris is looking for, but this is a ball that he should come up with. Looks like he has a clean opportunity to come up with the catch. Jaleel Adai is in coverage. Number 84, you can see there is a grab of his jersey. He gets his hands up and on it. You can see why Harris was looking for the penalty because of the tug on the jersey. Could have easily been called, but the ball did hit him in the hands.
So 3rd and goal. Alex Smith on the move, looking, throwing, end zone, touchdown, Kareem Hunt.
Well, they're going to wave that off, Greg. I think that ball hit the ground. Well, they called it incomplete on the field. So because it was ruled an incomplete on the field, it's got to be challenged by Andy Reid. It's not going to be reviewed by the booth. You see, he starts to bobble it initially. The point of the ball does hit the ground, but does he have control of the ball before it hits the ground? The rule was changed back in late 90s. Actually in 2000 because of the play in
Kansas
the 99
City is
playoffs.
challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
So they will look at it. As Andy Reid walks back to his club.
Well, the one question I have is you can see the ball hit the ground. The ball doesn't move when so it's bobbled there. It initially hits the ground. When it initially hits the ground, it doesn't move. But now watch when he brings it to his chest, it bobbles a little bit.
Well, does it bobble or is he just raising it up in the air?
You can see the movement in his hand. So I go back to what it's been called throughout this year. They tend to rule in favor of the call on the field. Although I think he maintains control of the football because of that movement as he's rolling over. I'm thinking they're going to stick with the call on the field. You don't see the initial movement there, which means he has control, but it's that bobble there as it's twisting in his hands.
So you're going to say not enough there to overturn the incomplete call?
I just think based on the way that they've ruled things so far this season, because it's called incomplete on the field, I've been wrong several times this year, though, Greg.
I hadn't noticed. I had not noticed.
In case you're keeping tabs on what my percentage is. I have a pretty good percentage if this was baseball batting average, but I don't know.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It's incomplete pass, 4th down.
So they say there was too much movement, not enough control, incomplete, and the field goal unit will come on. Here's another look.
As I've said it a couple times, he gains control. It hits the ground. It doesn't move, but watch here when it see the twist of the ball in his hands. It gives it a little bit of a bobble. So I think had it not bobbled, had he been able to keep it secure the entire time without any movement, then I think it could have been overturned. But ultimately, because it was ruled incomplete on the field, that's what it stayed.
Harrison Butker from 24 yards out, and the kick is good. Instead of the touchdown, the Chiefs settle for the field goal. They've scored 10 points over the last minute and 36 seconds. And with 28 seconds to play in the third, it's a 20-13 lead for the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, what's at stake? How about the lead in the AFC West? Kansas City and the Chargers both at 7-6. Oakland right behind them at 6-7. You see those two top teams in the AFC playoff picture, Pittsburgh and New England. They will meet tomorrow. And I still say, Trent, the Jacksonville Jaguars may be the best story in football.
Well, it's been tremendous what they've been able to do. 3-13 a year ago, and this year in the position they are, and doing a great job defensively. They lead the league in a number of defensive categories, or near the top in a number of defensive categories. Leonard Fournette, the way he's running the football and the running game that Jacksonville has, and then Blake Bortles taking care of the football, throwing touchdowns, not turning the ball over. He started to use his legs the last few weeks, has been effective running the ball as well. So they've got things going in Jacksonville.
Desmond King will not be able to return this one. It goes through the end zone and out for the touchback. Let's check in with Jamie Erdahl.
Greg, it's been busy on the Chargers sideline for a while now. Officially, Denzel Perryman is out of this game with the hamstring injury he suffered in the first half. Safety Adrian Phillips went to the locker room. He's questionable to return with an ankle injury, but interestingly enough, when he got to the medical tent, a woman appeared next to him as the medical tent went over him. I was able to confirm that it was his wife that made it into the medical tent. She ended up jumping the stands and making it into the tent. She was escorted off the field with a police officer, so I'm trying to confirm whether or not she will face disciplinary action as a fan.
All right, Jamie, that is odd, isn't it?
Jamie, when you said there was a lot of action going on the sideline, I did not think that was where you were going with the story.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon here. Dances for about 2 yards. Justin Houston making the stop.
Well, now the Chargers are trying to respond, down a touchdown as the third quarter comes to an end here. This is an exciting game we thought it was going to be. We were excited about it, a couple hours before kickoff. We were getting cranked up here, and now we get the opportunity to have the fourth quarter. It's going to be worth something.
We're at the end of 3, 20-13. Chiefs back to Kansas City after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching an NFL Network special. Along with our producer, Ken Mack, our director, Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl at Arrowhead Stadium. We start the fourth. The battle for the top spot in the AFC West. 2nd and 8 for Rivers and the Chargers. That's complete. Keenan Allen to about the 39. That's about a yard short of a first down.
Well, Keenan Allen came into this game with 4 straight games over 100 yards receiving. That catch gets him to 45. Chiefs have done a good job containing him and keeping everything short and underneath.
Eckler out of the backfield, has the ball, and the first down, lost it. Picked up by the Chiefs. Ron Parker made the recovery.
Well, in the first matchup, the Chiefs were able to convert 3 turnovers by the Chargers into 17 points. Reggie Ragland with the tackle on Eckler, able to knock the ball loose.
And we have a flag down on the far side of the field.
Well, and there's a Chargers player down on the far side of the field as well.
That may be Eckler. No, it is not. It's Hunter Henry. So he is up onto his feet. And Walt Anderson's crew discussed the flag.
The ruling on the field is a catch and a fumble returned by the defense. During the return of the fumble, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 96 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 10, Kansas City.
So
Time
that
out.
penalty is on Benny Logan, the nose tackle. There is the hit on Hunter Henry by Benny Logan. We'll be back. Back in Arrowhead Stadium. Eckler, the man who lost the football. The Chargers, who have taken such good care of the football in recent games, not so much tonight. Over the middle, that is complete to Kareem Hunt. And Hunt right at the first down marker at the 46-yard line.
Tackled by Rayshon Jenkins.
Their last 9 games, they were a plus 14. Best in the league tonight. They've turned the ball over twice in their last 4 plays on offense.
Well, that plus 14 has as much to do with the defense taking the ball away. They haven't had any turnovers or takeaways tonight. The Chiefs are protecting the football. The last 5 games, the Chargers have 11 interceptions, but haven't been close so far tonight.
Hunt, first down. Out of bounds at about the 38, the 40-yard line.
If you're the Chargers, you've got to try doing something to disrupt the continuity and the rhythm that the Chiefs have on offense. I know they've tried mixing things up, bringing some pressures from time to time. For the most part, they've been trying to play a 2-shell and keep things in front of them.
This is Hunt. And Hunt dragged down from behind by Melvin Ingram. I want to remind you, next Saturday on NFL Network, T.Y. Hilton and the Indianapolis Colts up against Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens. Colts and Ravens, Trent and I and Jamie will be there next Saturday, 4:30, only on NFL Network. Is there a chance the weather in Baltimore is going to be as nice as it is here tonight?
I'm going to go out on a very thin limb and say there's absolutely no chance it'll be this one.
Kareem Hunt, 19 carries, 101 yards today. 6th career 100-yard game. Alex Smith, Hunt. And Hunt gets hit by 2 or 3 Chargers on the far side of the field at the 37. Joey Bosa, Jatavis Brown, a couple of them.
3rd and 7.
When you mentioned Ingram and Bosa, the last two plays being involved in tackles, and those are the two guys that are going to have to step up. Yes, they've had good presence in the middle of the field with Legit before he was banged up a little bit, and with Mebane, but Bosa and Ingram have to be the disruptive force for the defense on for the Chargers.
Remember, this is still just a 7-point game. Alex Smith. Diving catch made inside the 35 by DeAnthony Thomas. And that will bring the field goal unit on.
Well, and that may be an important 3 or 4 yards there to pick up for Butker as he attempts this field goal.
That's a terrific catch by DeAnthony Thomas.
Keeps it off the ground.
So Butker missed from 52 yards earlier in this game. This one, a 51-yarder. And good. By a long shot. His third field goal of the night from 24, 31, and 51. The Chiefs extend their lead 23-13. 10:59 to play in regulation. Point lead for the Chiefs in this battle for the lead in the AFC West. Plenty of time remaining. Desmond King is deep, but will not get a chance to return this one. The touchback will start us at the 25. Meanwhile, the last two drives for the Chargers. Rivers throwing the interception. And then Eckler losing the handle on the sideline, picked up by Parker of the Chiefs.
Well, and that's the difference of the ball game right there, Greg. There's 10 points off of those 2 turnovers as the Chiefs sit on a 10-point lead.
So here is Rivers.
Similar to what I said coming out in the second half. I think you put this game in Phillip Rivers' hands. Let him spread things out.
Penalty markers, movement on the offensive line.
Ball start, number 69, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Sam Tebby, the guilty party, down to Jamie.
A couple of injuries to update you on, Greg. Linebacker for the Chiefs, Kevin Pierre-Louis, injured at shoulder in the second half. He's doubtful to return. Defensive end Jarvis Jenkins, who had a brace put on his elbow in the first half, he's questionable to return. And Austin Eckler went to the locker room with a hand injury. He is also questionable.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Meanwhile, we saw Adrian Phillips come back during that last series. 1st and 15. Rivers, sideline complete. Keenan Allen, and Allen out of bounds at about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line.
Well, Barksdale's limping around on the ground again. He left the game earlier. What looked like a hip or groin injury that they were working on, and once again, looks like it may be that right leg.
Suddenly the injuries beginning to pile up in this hard-fought matchup. 10:54 to play in the 4th. 2nd and 6 for the Chargers. Gordon running room right up the middle. Tripped up and brought down at the 44. That's enough for a first down. Kenneth Acker making the tackle. 15 yards.
Able to get the run right up the middle. Hunter Henry is lined up on the left side, comes over and does the kick out block, which Ingram runs right off his backside, is able to get through the hole, pick up the first down.
Gordon again. To about the 47.5-yard line. And Frank Zombo making the stop there. So I think Rivers showing that this Kansas City defense just can't sit back and wait for him to throw the ball.
Well, and I think that's why the last 2 plays he's called these draws, because he realizes that's what the Chiefs think. They're down The Chargers are down 2 scores, so he's going to throw it a bunch. So you start bringing pressure off the edges. That's going to leave some gaps in the middle of the defense. He's taking advantage the last 2 snaps.
Rivers to throw here. Gordon out of the backfield, and it's going to lose yardage. Daniel Sorensen making the stop at the 45.
Gordon with a chip block on Zombo to the outside. Sorensen comes up. Sorensen, of course, is filling in for the injured Eric Berry. The All-Pro got injured early in the season, and Sorensen is taking full advantage of his opportunity as he's leading the Chiefs defense in tackles.
So here's a 3rd and 8 now for the Chargers. Rivers needs the 46-yard line of the Chiefs for a first down. That's complete. Travis Benjamin. Benjamin doesn't make it to the first down marker. Marcus Peters makes the tackle.
Well, that's the thing that has frustrated some Chiefs fans is there's times where Marcus Peters can come up and make a tackle like this, and then there's been times like earlier in this game where he avoids the tackle as the Chargers line up to go for it on 4th down.
On 4th and 2, Rivers stepping up, lobbing it, intercepted, picked off by Parker.
Parker gets the interception, but it's the pressure that Chris Jones and Justin Houston are able to put on Phillip Rivers that causes that ball to float in the air for the easy interception.
Parker had a fumble recovery, now comes up with an interception. That was only the second 4th quarter interception for Phillip Rivers this season. He had 9 of them last year. And 3 turnovers now for the Chargers in their last 3 possessions.
Now the Chiefs offensively, sorry Greg, now the Chiefs offensively are going to try and use up some of this clock. Still a lot of time left in the game, just a 10-point advantage for the Chiefs, but 8:23 left in the game. You want to try, obviously you want to try getting points, but you also want to start using up some of the clock.
This is Hunt. Hunt left side, first down and much more. Down the sideline. Into Charger territory to about the 43.
Watch the way Hunt is able to get this ball to the outside. Good blocking at the point of attack. He bounces it to the sideline, and one of the key things he does is he stays in bounds. He gets the yards, but the officials keep him in bounds, keep that clock winding down.
That is Jatavis Brown on the sideline. As suddenly the injuries have picked up in this football game.
Well, Jatavis Brown's in there because of the injury to Perriman.
That's Brown over the top, and whoa, he got whipped over along with Hunt's body.
Perriman, as Jamie told us, is out for the rest of the game. I believe with a hamstring injury is what she told us. And now Brown dealing with an injury himself.
Kansas City 139 rushing yards today. On first down from the 42. Charkandrick West. Maybe a yard if they're generous. Well, in the second half, Trent, it appears that the Chiefs have been able to put a stop to any drives that the Chargers had hopes of being able to start. A reminder, tomorrow at 7, Pete Carroll sits down with Steve Mariucci to preview the Seahawks' huge NFC West showdown with the Rams. NFL Game Day morning tomorrow at 7 live on NFL Network. Alex Smith throwing. This is Hunt on the near side. and brought down at about the 37-yard line.
Well, some of that misdirection that we saw early in the game. Tyreek Hill coming in motion and working behind Alex Smith, trying to cause some confusion for the defense, get the ball out to Hunt in some space. Only able to pick up a few yards. Now, if you're the Chargers, you got to bring some heat here. You got to get some pressure. You got to try and get in the backfield, be disruptive. If you can get a tackle for loss or an incomplete pass here.
Third and 5. Over the middle, incomplete. And a late flag comes in from the secondary. Albert Wilson, the intended receiver. I mean, there was a seasonal change.
Pass interference, number 50, defense. First down at the spot of the foul.
It felt like there was a seasonal change between the pass and the flag flying.
There was quite a bit of gap there. Be on the left side of your screen here, number 12, Albert Wilson, and see the contact as he's trying to work to the inside.
And here comes the flag.
Pollard prevents him from getting to the inside. The official from the back had a straight view of it.
That is the 4th first down via the penalty for the Chiefs. Keeps this drive going. Kareem Hunt, left side hole, 20, 10. It'll be 1st and goal for Kansas City.
Greg, I know Kareem Hunt's going to be the one that we talk about because of the yards he's able to rack up, but the domination of this offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, especially the last 2 weeks, they were taking a lot of criticism during the losing stretch that the Chiefs had put together, but coming against this defense tonight, able to dominate up front, push them around. We talked about Ingram and Bosa coming into this, but also Legit and Mebane, they've been able to control things up front, have the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's what's creating the lanes for Kareem Hunt.
On 1st and goal, Kareem Hunt. To about the 8. You're right, Trent. We were singing the praises, and rightly so, of Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa, and they've been pretty well kept in check by this offensive front.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to the 2 tackles, Schwartz and Eric Fisher. They've done a solid job tonight. Yes, they've had help at times. They've gotten chips. They've had help from linebackers, but for the most part, we haven't talked about Ingram and Bosa a lot. They've had some disruptive plays, but it hasn't been on a consistent basis.
2nd and goal. Clock continues to move. 4:50 to play. Hunt right to the middle of the field in the 5-yard line. And there's Joey Bosa with his tackle.
Well, and this is critical. It goes without saying that the Chargers hold the Chiefs to a field goal attempt. Touchdown would make this a 3-possession game. Field goal obviously keeps it a 2-possession game, so this 3rd down is critical for the Chargers defensively.
How about Kareem Hunt? 40 rushing yards in the first half, 110 here in the second.
Hey, 31.
3rd and goal.
31. Hey, crazy.
Once again, Hunt to the end zone, touchdown. That offensive line, Trent.
Well, that offensive line, and unfortunately for the Chargers, it's missed tackles as well. At the point of attack, it appeared that the Chargers had a couple of defenders that were going to be able to make the stop short of the goal line. Watch as Kareem Hunt takes this over to the right. In position, 1, 2, 3 defenders dive at Kareem Hunt, not able to bring him down as he gets in the end zone once again. Casey Hayward, the first one coming in, trying to go low and get his legs, not able to wrap him up.
The Extra point is perfect, right down the middle. The Kansas City Chiefs have now scored on their last 4 drives and 3 times off turnovers.
Well, it's the same formula that they had the first time these two met up in week 3. 17 points off of the 3 turnovers. 17 points off of 3 turnovers this game.
Back in week 3, that was a 24-10 loss to Kansas City for the Chargers.
Well, we take a look at Alex Smith right there. Talked to him a couple days ago, and he just said how fired up this team was to play the game because, you know, I brought up the fact, I go, certain teams play better when their backs are against the wall and people are doubting them. The experts are doubting them, and some people have a hard time playing when everybody expects you to win. And it looks like this team plays better when their backs are against the wall because the start of the season they responded. Nobody was thinking much of them at the start of the year, and they go into New England, get that win on opening night. Now coming into today, Alex Smith coming into tonight, Alex Smith said, listen, nobody expects us to win. The guys are fired up to play.
Yeah, Andy Reid pretended to be surprised by that backs against the wall comment too. Touchback once again on the kickoff, and Keenan Allen now being wheeled down the sideline and off to the dressing room.
Well, it's amazing the number of players that have been hurt in this game on both sidelines, but it seems like the Chargers have had quite a few head to the locker room, whether it's get x-rays or get reevaluated. They've been down a couple of linebackers. Barksdale's been down.
And that naturally is a key receiver now out of the game. Melvin Gordon picking his way up the middle of the field for about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 as the clock comes up on 3:45 to play.
Well, and down 3 possessions with under 4 minutes to go. You do have 3 timeouts, but you got to start pushing it down the field. You got to start trying to get some big chunks, big plays.
Rivers over the middle, bobbled and held on to by Gordon. And that'll be about 1.5 yards short of a first down.
Rivers trying to go with some up-tempo here.
This time he will hand it off, and that's right at the first down marker. Let's see what they decide.
Well, if it's short of that 30, if it's not touching the line, that's not a first down. There, obviously, this point of the game, you have no choice but to go for it on 4th down.
4th and inches. They'll give it to Gordon to try to get it, and he does as he crosses the 35 out to about the 38-yard line. 2:40.
But if you're Chiefs, you're fine with this. You're just watching the clock tick away.
Rivers across the 45, 46-yard line. The diving catch is made, and a late flag comes in once again. And this will be against Kansas City.
I think they're going to get Terrence Mitchell with pass interference.
Pass interference, number 39, defense. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Trent, did these Chiefs sufficiently impress you tonight? Because the Chargers came to town as one of the hottest teams in the National Football League.
Well, they have impressed me because this is the formula they had early in the season when they were winning those 5 games. They got some big plays. Tyreek Hill, big catch down the sideline, a couple of big running plays, defense getting turnovers, creating field position, and then the offense taking advantage of those turnovers.
Rivers, far side of the field. It is incomplete. Intended for Travis Benjamin, covered by Marcus Peters. I said earlier, it's been an interesting couple of weeks for Marcus Peters. He is the one who grabbed an official's flag, tossed it into the seats, was fined by the NFL, and then suspended for a game by his own team.
Well, it has been a struggle. He's an emotional player. It's one that Andy Reid talks about quite a bit. He's had instances over the last couple of years with that emotion where it gets him into trouble, where he says things to officials and gets a penalty. He had one in week 3 against these Chargers where he got a 15-yard penalty because of what he said to an official. But he is a dynamic player and very valuable to this defense.
There's Chris Jones running down Philip Rivers, who had to get rid of it in a hurry. Stops the clock with 2:09 to play. Our friend Chris Jones has had himself a night.
He has. He's limped around a little bit. He's battled through some injuries, just like a number of the players out here tonight. Been able to get in the backfield, make some plays, disrupt the quarterback. Sure, he's had a few comments for the offensive line. As we've talked about, he likes to talk, mix things up a little bit. He said that's when he's having fun.
As we approach the 2-minute warning, Rivers, flag thrown in the backfield. He throws down the middle of the field, and the diving catch is made by Tyrell Williams.
Holding, number 69, offense, 10-yard penalty, still third down.
And that's another penalty charged to Sam Tevi, the rookie out of Utah. We hit the 2-minute warning here at Arrowhead Stadium. The Chargers. 2 minutes to play in regulation here in Kansas City. The Chiefs will grab sole possession of the top spot in the AFC West. I remind you to stay tuned for the Mazda post game. Chris Rose, Reggie Bush, LaDainian Tomlinson will bring you highlights and analysis of tonight's game. Philip Rivers has not completed a pass over 20 yards to either his wide receivers or tight ends. He hit Melvin Gordon for a 49-yarder.
Well, and that goes against the trend of what they've done here in their last 9 games, winning 7 of those 9 games. It's they've been able to get big plays. They've been able to push the ball down the field. Philip Rivers has been able to take advantage of the weapons that he has, and so far tonight, that's been an impressive display by this Chiefs defense. Chargers only with 290 yards at this point in time in the game.
This from a team that's recorded 400 or more yards each of their last 4 games. Not tonight. This is a 3rd and 20.
Hey, you gotta check your ball.
Rivers up the seam, intercepted. Marcus Peters once again.
Well, you and I talked about it at one of the breaks. It was Philip Rivers in these kinds of games. He's going to keep firing it. He's going to keep trying to find ways to get the team back into it, and sometimes it costs you with multiple interceptions as you're trying to squeeze it in there. That time trying to hit Travis Benjamin with a back shoulder throw. Benjamin not even looking. By the time he turns around, Peters has the ball running the other direction. Rivers now in the 2 games against the Chiefs this year. 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions.
3 tonight. And this is Chart Kendrick West as the Chiefs look to run the clock down. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs, with a win tonight, they win 1 more game and they win the West. And they host Miami next week, travel to Denver for week 17, or a Chargers loss and an Oakland loss. But right now, Kansas City looking pretty good for AFC West Championship.
Well, you have that 1-game lead in the standing, but then as you said, number of tiebreakers get settled here tonight with this win. When you talk about division wins, head-to-head matchups, they've got a 1-game lead in the standings, but a 2-game when you consider head-to-head against the Chargers.
Yeah, Kansas City will go to 4-1 within the division, while the Chargers will fall to 2-3. And this Chiefs defense has Philip Rivers shaking his head on the sideline. You know what happens, Trent? we come into these games expecting the teams to play the way they've been playing, and that just doesn't always happen. That's been the case for the Chargers here tonight.
Well, it has, and that's why Alex Smith brought that up. He said, listen, everybody's expecting the Chargers to come in here and win this thing because the way they've played the last couple of months, they've just been hot on offense. You mentioned the fact their offense have had 4 straight games over 400 yards, and the Chiefs have held them to under 300 yards. You talk about their defense. The defense the last 3 games has held opposing offenses to under 300 yards. The Chiefs are going to be over 400 yards when this thing's over.
West stood up and thrown back at about the 43-yard line. Kareem Hunt has had himself quite an outing here in Arrowhead. Running with purpose, running with good blocking.
The offensive line has played tremendous, creating holes and lanes for him, but he's been able to make tacklers miss, to run through arm tackles, to spin away from linebackers. He gets in the open field. He's been able to make big chunks and big yards. He's got 155 yards rushing, his long of 23, and then catching the ball out of the backfield. He's got 7 catches for 51 yards, so heck of a game by Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, meanwhile, Phillip Rivers just doesn't have the same touch. He went 163 pass attempts without an interception, and then has thrown 3 in his last 11 attempts.
Once again, Phillip Rivers, he's aggressive with it, and when he's not on the same page, and it happened with the first interception, Tyrell Williams, he threw into double coverage, trusted him to go. Tyrell Williams turned the other way, and Marcus Peters had one of his 2 interceptions.
On 3rd and 8, Charkandrick West brought down just shy of the 40, and some pushing and shoving between, looks like Casey Hayward and DeAnthony Thomas. So the Chargers used their last timeout to stop the clock with 1:28 to play. And a reminder once again, the Mazda post game. Chris Rose, Reggie Bush, LaDainian Tomlinson bring you highlights and analysis of tonight's game, which has been an impressive Kansas City victory.
Well, it is. When you can consider so much was on the line in this game, as we touched on quite a bit here, just the momentum that the Chargers had coming into this game. And, the Chiefs had to struggle, and until last week against the Raiders, they got things turned around. But could they do it in back-to-back weeks? And I think they proved that here tonight.
Travis Benjamin going to let it float. And rolls out of bounds. Looks like inside the 10-yard line. Let's see where they mark it out. They'll mark it at about the 8-yard line. Meanwhile, Marcus Peters, we mentioned the fine, we mentioned the suspension. Did we say he's had a heck of a night here?
Well, it's been impressive the way he's able to locate the ball and track it in the air. This time Williams not finding the ball. Comes up on Eckler. He and Ragland together there get the forced fumble. And then, of course, the last interception. He's got reason to dance.
So the Chargers at their own 8-yard line, out of timeouts and almost out of time. Melvin Gordon thrown out to about the 15-yard line. So Anthony Lynn will have to take his Chargers back to Los Angeles and regroup. They travel to the Meadowlands to play the New York Jets next week and then finish at home against the Oakland Raiders.
Well, and that is a lot of traveling. You just mentioned the fact they'll head back tonight. They get that extra day because tonight's game's on a Saturday, so they'll have the advantage of getting some more time, but then they have to go, as you said, they have to go across country and hope they get some help. They need to get the win against the Jets. They need to get the win the final week against the Raiders, and then they need help from either the Dolphins or the Broncos to try and catch the Chiefs.
It's been a heck of a charge for them. They've won 7 of their last 9 coming in here tonight.
It really has. The first-time head coach, you start off 0-4. You lost some games you probably should have won early on, but you kept the message the same. You stayed consistent with it. His team believed in him, believed in that message. They stayed together. It's been impressive what they've been able to do after that type of start, to be in this position coming in with 3 games left in the season, and you got the ability to win the division. So have to say a lot about the job that Anthony Lynn has done and his staff, keeping everybody focused and keeping them moving in the right direction.
In another 7 seconds, Chiefs will have chalked up their 8th consecutive win against the Chargers. And Alex Smith, as a Kansas City Chief, will go to 7-1 against the Chargers. And this run will go nowhere, and the clock will strike 0. And the Kansas City Chiefs improve to 8-6. They are the sole leaders in the AFC's Western Division with 2 games to play. 30-13 the final. Here's a look at the AFC West. Kansas City 8-6 overall, 4-1 within the division. The Chargers fall to 7-7. Oakland with a chance to reach up and tie the Chargers with a win tomorrow.
Overall impressive performance, Greg, on both sides of the football for the Kansas City Chiefs. You consider the defense. They held the Chargers to just 306 yards, got the 3 turnovers. Offense was able to take those turnovers and turn them into points. Impressive performance all around.
Once again, our final score, the Kansas City Chiefs 30, the Los Angeles Chargers 13. Coming up next, it's the Mazda post-game show for Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl, and the rest of our crew here at Arrowhead Stadium. Greg Gumbel saying so long from Kansas City. You've been watching an NFL Network special. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good night.